Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's intraday analysis video, brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, guys, into the video we go here. And again, what you can see is the markets are trading slightly lower across the board on this Monday, March 25th. Basically, you had a gap up this morning on the back of relief from Cyprus as they reached a bailout deal. And again, the reasons why the market reversed, a couple different reasons. Number one, even though they reached a bailout deal, it's really not that great. If you think about it, what they're doing actually, they're closing one of the main banks, and basically the depositors over 100,000 are going to be taking well over a 10% hit on their accounts. So again, imagine you had 100,000 in an account. They're basically coming in. They could take up to 40% of that. Up to 40%, folks. Now, granted, anyone under 100,000 seems to be pretty safe, but it sets a precedence that has to be a little concerning, because even if the small money doesn't do withdrawals from these banks once they reopen, why wouldn't you if you had big money? If I was in Greece, if I was in Spain, if I was in Portugal, and I had over 100,000 in any one account, I would be in there in a flash, reducing that and having it under that amount, or pulling it totally out of the account there and moving it somewhere else. So I think it sets a precedence for big money to kind of move out, and I think the market's a little nervous about that. And again, I think a lot of the other reasoning behind the reversal today comes from the fact that everyone thought the markets would be up. I mean, the news media was all over this all weekend. If, the headlines were, if Cyprus reaches a deal, markets to rally, etc., etc. Anytime everyone thinks something's going to happen, it usually doesn't happen. I mean, that's one of the biggest obvious kind of things here that speak forward. And now there's talk about some of these other countries needing to do the same thing here. I mean, it's just a matter of time until Greece does the same thing. So the market's again having an initial pop early in the day into beautiful resistance levels, and then ultimately reversing to the downside. We're actually off those lows decently at this point. We're not down that much. The S&P's down 4 points, Nasdaq's down 7.5, Dow's down about 55. But I think overall the reversal today speaks to more so the state of things in Europe and how ugly they still are. And then also you have to figure that the amount of people thinking the market was going to be up today was just too immense. Therefore, the markets reverse and come back to the downside. All right, in terms of technical levels, again, the levels this morning worked unbelievably well. We opened right underneath this first green line. You can see we pushed up and then we reversed down, so you had a beautiful scalp off that first one. Then you moved up to the second green line. Then you had this massive fall with bounces here at the 50, at the 200, and then we came down here, got a little bit of bounce just over this level here, and then ultimately this was the buy of the day right here, folks. If you're a trader, this is the one you look for. Look at this. Gap fill. So you just filled a major gap from last Thursday's close, folks. And anytime you fill a gap with this much downside, you have to be prepared for a big pivot low to be put in. And sure enough, that's what you got here. So a perfect entry right there on an intraday basis at 154.40 yields a move up here all the way back. Basically a dollar bounce on the spiders from that point. From this low to this high, you had a dollar bounce, $1 bounce in a matter of 30 to 40 minutes on the SPY. Truly amazing bounce there. Absolutely stunning. All right, other stocks in motion, guys. Apple. What can you say? Up again today, even in a weak market. The stock hit a high of 470 across the board. I alerted to members to buy this at 420. This is the level I gave out. 420 approximately was my level. I've been bullish on this stock continuously since that level because it was such a major low. The level of 420 I gave out to members as much as 3 months ago as being the pivot low. I said that's your spot. That is your spot you're looking for. Okay? All right? And again, ultimately, that's exactly where it went. And now you're basically made 10% in a few weeks on Apple if you bought the long level, if you were a member here at In The Money Stocks and played the level I gave out. Beautiful level there. So Apple continues to be strong. All other stocks are pretty weak out there. We see Amazon down about $2 and change today. This continues to be a falling kind of pivot point off of a little bit of consolidation Friday, but the 200 looks to be where it's headed. There's a small gap fill just above it, but I still think the 200 is where this thing is going to go before it gets any sort of significant bounce. Okay? Let's take a look at a couple other stocks here. Research in Motion taking a little bit of a hit today, although it is off those lows, really coming down sharply from Friday's action. I gave out a call not too long ago that I said Research in Motion would head towards $10.25 to 50 cents. I'm still standing by that call as that's the master level. So it will head there, just a matter of time. I gave that call out when it was trading at $18 a share, so it's already halfway there. Just another $4 drop or so, and it will be in a key level where actually at that point I'd like it. There's a couple of levels that will bounce along the way, but for the most part, it will head back to about the 10 and a quarter, 10 and a half level on Research in Motion, BBRY. Google today continues to kind of just chop around, had a nice early opening surge, and then just gave it all up. And this is a pretty weak signal for this stock to not be able to hold those gains. Not down much on the day, but again, had such a good day early. Also, you have to keep watch of this possible bearish pattern developing underneath the 20 MA. This pattern right here could be a very big signal for a possible fall in the next week or so, all the way down to the 50 MA. So just be aware of that, folks, that if this continues to go sideways for another day or two, look for a drop on Google all the way down to the 50 MA. All right, that would be a drop all the way down to a price point of around 780 to 785, which is not a bad drop. It's about 25 bucks from this current level at this point in time. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan under pressure, Chevron, Exxon under pressure. We're seeing the market pretty much remaining under a little bit of pressure today, down 70 cents on the SPY. You can see after the big pop, we're retracing just a little bit now, coming down. Again, my thought process pretty much stays the same, is that for now, you have to look at the market as a struggling market that's continuing to put in a rounded longer-term top. There will be pops along the way. Even new all-time highs on the S&P is not something that I discount. In fact, I do think we will hit all-time highs and then go a little bit higher. But I do think we are in the process right now of putting in a longer rounded top. Remember, rounded tops actually go a little bit higher before they form. They kind of go like this, then they pull back, they go a little bit higher, pull back, go a little bit higher, pull back, and then they start to kind of come down a little bit more like that. You get that nice little rounded sense to it. And that's what I think right now is in the process of this market. So again, I think once we officially put in that rounded top and make the all-time highs on the S&P, you get one more final push up of around 2 to 3% through that all-time high, and then the markets turn lower and chop around before collapsing back down about 10% or so. So we'll see if that comes true. But again, folks, the beauty of this is it's just a trader's market. Just to give you guys a heads up on one stock out there, NVGN, small cap biotech. I did my small cap webinar, my secrets to unlimited profits in small caps that I utilize to pick my small caps, and I did that on Friday. And during the webinar, I actually gave out a trade that we took, and the stock itself today moved enough to pay for the entire webinar and additionally make people about 100, 200 bucks in addition. So, I mean, it's amazing how things will work like that, just showing how the small caps can be traded. And I gave this out, I explained it, people understood it, we took it, it paid for their webinar easily, and then some. That was a great trade right there. So, again, congratulations. I actually think it'll probably end up going higher as well. But just to be able to pay for a webinar you take is just such an awesome thing on a trade given in that webinar. All right, and again, look for NVGN, which is trading right around that 480 level right now, 470, 480 level. I actually think it's going to go to about 550 over the next few days, so be watchful of that. All right, guys, have a great afternoon, great evening. I'm going to get off here, get back to trading, and we'll talk to you all soon. Come join us here at In The Money Stocks. Take the 7-day free trial.